Hello, anybody, somebody, nobody, whoever may never see this. This is Z for Dogs Under Fouls, the Whiff. Come back to more Warhammer 40k. Sorry I haven't been putting out content in a while. I actually am re-recording this because I started talking about some of the drama I've been dealing with, and yeah, you know what? I don't need to put that into you guys. I've just been dealing with drama at work and life and stuff, and so it's been hard to get another job, yada yada yada. But 40k. So I plan to do more videos when 10th edition comes out, when I have time, when I'm not dealing with drama, and I can make sure I have financial security. I'm very interested in doing that. I want to make actual decent quality videos for 10th edition. A lot of the stuff is looking cool. I haven't been covering it because there's other channels covering it, and until I have it in black and white, it's just kind of official-ish hearsay. I could do more content for the 9th edition, but I maybe won't. I'm not sure. Because it's just when I have free time, as I said, and I just kind of haven't been feeling it because some stuff is kind of just nailed to where it is. And yeah, with that said, I thought I'd make a quick video-ish here about 3 cool dreadnaughts that, out of the many dreadnaughts that particularly make me laugh or I think are awesome. So without further ado, let me go into them. So, let's start with the middle. So the middle is Custodian Dreadnought. I have the tabletop size, and this is him compared to just a regular guardsman. No relation, but just like, the dude's massive. The dude is at his crotch. Like, oh my god, this shit's massive. And this is the Contemptor Galatis Dreadnought. And let me, I supersized it. Let me spin it around. Woofing about, doggo. So the Galatis Dreadnought, there is, I believe if memory serves, 2 others. There's the regular Contemptor Achilles, and then there's the Telamon. Telamon is massive, and that thing is a menace. I rewatched a video I previously had where my Telamon beat 5 Light Lords to death in their fight phase. Good lord. Yeah, I love the Telamon, but in melee. But the Telamon, if you don't take its melee weapon, you just take both range options, he's 290 points. Oh my god. The Contemptor Galatis, 180. Early 9th edition, I think this fucker was like 150 or 160 or some shit. And he still has core, which means you can have 3 of them and they're all going to get buffed by Trajan and Vexilicans, or Vexilus. So they'll get the -1 to be hit and get like cover, even though they're dreadnoughts and not infantry. In melee, oh, it's just, they have 2-up, oh wait, no, I don't have the profile because it's not yellow scribed. They have a 9-inch move, their profile doesn't change, 2-up weapons and ballistics. Their ballistics is a 12-inch flamethrower sword for their Galatis Warblade, strength 7, toughness 7, wounds 9, 5 attacks, 11 leadership, and a 2-up save. They have a 4-up invul and -1 to be hit in melee, naturally built in. If they take damage, it's reduced by 1, and then if they would take any damage, on a 6-up, they have a naturally built-in Feel No Pain. And that's despite being a Custodian, also having that Feel No Pain against mortals, but if you go Emperor's Chosen, it becomes a 4-up Feel No Pain against mortals. Quite spicy. And their melee, 5 attacks, however, when they make the Warblade attacks, it's D3 additional attacks, for strength 7, AP 3, damage 3. These dudes slap for their point value. They are awesome. And if you roll good, and your opponent doesn't have a way to just annihilate them with basically Vanquishers or Hammerheads, your opponent's going to have a hard time. They have to dump a shit ton into them because they're just so insane for their point value. They used to be far better. You know what? They're good for their point value because they used to be insane. And they're even better. So they used to be even better, but I still love them. Yes, the Telamon is amazing. He's T8. These are T7, unfortunately, but they're like 60% or 70% of the cost of a Telamon. I think it's like, yeah. So for their cost value, I think they're superior. Because you can have for 2 Telemons, you can't run this, but you could have 4 Galatuses or some shit, basically. Or for 2 Telemons, you could have 3 Galatuses. Yeah, there we go. So, it's very nice. I love them a lot. I used to run 3 of them as just as traveling brigade with Trajan, because they would just be such a... If your opponent doesn't have Melta up the ass, even then, it's Melta up the ass, because you give them -1 to be hit. So now your opponent is hitting on probably 4s, and then it's a 3-up to wound them, but they have a 50-50 save, and then they reduce your damage by 1, and they can possibly have a feel no pain. And if you're not doing Melta, then they probably are going to have a 2-up save. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Huh. Excuse me. So for their point value, I love them. I never really liked the Achilles, and the Telemon was nutty, but I think you could just run one of them, and especially when they made it so that Stratagem can only buff one of them with the extra attack and reroll to charge. You could just do one single Telemon instead if you're doing multiple of these guys, but the Telemon doesn't have core. So, it used to, prior to their Codex for 9th edition release, I believe, which made it funny because you could be Tank Commander Trajan, just buffing everyone, or Master of Ordnance, I should say, and just buffing your giant Telemons. But yeah, I love the Galatus. I still think he's good. He's a decent pick. I think he's better than the Achilles. I'm not been a fan of those. And you could definitely run Telemons instead, but Vanquishers and Hammerheads are a thing. And so I think it hurts more if you lose them, especially if your plan is to get in and slap in melee. Just run these dudes. Anywho, that's them. The Librarian Dreadnought for the Blood Angels. I don't remember if everyone has access to Librarian Dreadnoughts. I don't think they do. But specifically, this one is insane. He's got a Furioso Fist and a Spear. The Spear profile, the Furioso Force Halberd, is 1 extra attack at +2 strength for strength 8, AP 3, D3 +3. And you can only get that 1 attack in. But against a character, you have the possibility of doing 6 damage in 1 attack. Good lord. And the Furioso Fist is ×2, so it's strength 12, AP 3, flat 3 damage each. Now the thing is that it can manifest 2 psychic powers. It's not it is a character, but it's not a named character, so you can give them fucking relics and warlord traits. However, you can also do it with Mephiston. So what Mephiston you could do with him. Now, why is this funny? Because you could do some funny business. Like, you can give him like this thing for D3 extra attacks or some shit, or whatever bonus. Like warlord trait and shit, extra charge and shit. However, you can give him quickening, because he can cast 2 things. So what's funny is you do quickening, so he can reroll his advance and charge rolls for himself, the Psyker, and he can add D3 to his attacks characteristics. So he's going to be attacking more. Let me just pull this up. So the Blood Angels. So he also gets, because he's Blood Angel, Red Thirst. So not only can he re-roll the advance and charge rolls, he gets +1 to both, and then he gets +1 to wound if he charges. So his strength 12 is going to get strength 12 +1, strength 8 +1. So he's going to be probably wounding on 2s against anything for the most part. And then that's just a chapter tactic. Don't forget about the Space Marine, oh god. Not the, where's this? The detachment rules. Savage Echoes. So once you're in the Assault Doctrine, gets +1 to his attacks characteristics again as well. And let's give him Wings of Sanguinius. This is where it gets funny. So the dude has naturally built in, he's a tanky boy, so he only moves 6 inches, because Dreadnought. However, the Psyker has a move characteristic of 12 and fly. In the psychic phase, it can move again. So what he does is he moves. This is where it gets funny. I have a generated map here. Oh, whoops. So this is just a 2K little map thing, right? Let's say you put your dreadnought like here. So he's barely outside of like being shot by your opponent or some shit. So you're probably gonna be safe. And then it's like, okay, cool. I get to go first. Alright, let's move him. Alright, let's do toggle measure movement. Alright, let's say your opponent gets to go first and they move, let's say they have Necrons or some shit. So they move like 7. Or they have something to just contest this. Just barely something small, like a guardsman or some shit. Move, move, move. Let me actually grab the guardsman. This is Kazarkin, but it'll do. I'll fulfill my obligation for the point I'm trying to make. Okay. So 4 inches, 1 inch, 1 inch. Psychic phase. Whee! He could do this and still has more room to spare. But he can go like this. He can do all kinds of funny business. If the sergeant was here, hell, if the sergeant was here, whee! He flies, doesn't care. So he can just fly over things. And he gets +1 to charge, and then if he was advanced, he'd go even further. But +1 to charge, and he gets to reroll charges, and he has built-in extra attacks. Like, this dude is insane. And overall, I think Mephiston is better because he's gonna be, well, also on a funny note, less 9 wounds or less. So look out, sir. But like Chief Librarian, Mephiston, since he's infantry, he can also just do other business where he has a decent melee. He is, if I'm not mistaken, I think cheaper. Because this dude is 150. Yeah, Mephiston is 125, and he slaps as well. Maybe not as hard, but he's able to get a bit more protection. I like him, but it's not unheard of if you just want to run the Librarian Dreadnought. He is a disgusting menace. Here's him, supersize. But no other Dreadnought can really do this as crazy as the Blood Angels. Like this thing with the Galtus, that's Custodes only. This is the Blood Angel only. Where it's just so funny to yeet a Dreadnought who should be moving 6 per turn. Maybe they advance so they can charge next turn. They can move effectively 18. 8 fucking teen as a Dreadnought in 1 turn and still charge you. Which, let's say it was this, right? For almost all of the missions, except for shit like this, that this is the only situation where it's less than 24. This is like 18 inches, give or take. I think it's supposed to be 18. Yeah, 18 inches. Every other mission, it's 24 inches from point to point. So, effectively, what you have, if I put my dude as close as he can be, now counting this, of course, here, which if you have something here, thinking there's this giant building in the way or whatnot, it's gone from 24 inches to now, oh, well, I need to make about 6 inches. Which, if you had yourself right on the line as well, and instead of 0.1 away, now I have a 5-inch charge, which is actually 4 inches because Blood Angels, and I get to fucking re-roll it for free. Oh my god. get fucked. Which, I'm gonna be losing this character afterwards, but depending on what you have there for value, that's insane. And then if I don't die, unless I'm mistaken, yeah, hold on. Let me just double check. Yeah, he doesn't fucking bracket. And, you can, if you don't need the extra charge value and shit, or to fly, that's fine. I'll be smiting. He's a psyker. It's smiting time. It's morphin' time. And so you could just start psychic damaging shit. Like, the dude is a fucking menace. He's still a fucking dreadnought. So, it's very unique. It's a bit more funny lols moment. They have a lot of characters in Blood Angels, and of course, Sanguinary Guard, oh my god, they're so good. So this gets overshadowed, especially since I like, as again, Mephiston instead of him. But it is just so funny, and it is such a cool thing to do if you don't want to run a named character. More so, this is something you can do for Crusade, and just get him even buffed further and make him a menace in Crusade. This is one of the more disgusting Crusade things because it's an insanely strong character that is not named. So him and a few other characters can just become insane. Last one now before I just keep ranting on him forever. What am I at for this video? I said it to be quick, 60 minutes, good lord. Is Space Wolves. Space Wolves! So this is going to be the Venerable Dreadnought. Special recognition to Bjorn. I don't have Bjorn or Murderfang or some of the other Dreadnoughts in here. They're all non-characters that are insane, because that means you can run 3 of them. If you wanted to, you could run 3 of the Librarian Dreadnought. Big meme. Do I recommend that? No. I recommend running 3 of these bastards, or 0 of him, but almost always 3 of these. These are just too good to pass up for Space Wolves. Now, why do I say that? Let me pull up. So, the Venerable Dreadnought for Space Wolves. The Galatus is 180 with a 4-up invul. The Venerable Dreadnought for Space Wolves is... where is this shit? There we go. Is 135, so 45 points cheaper, and still has the big thing, a 4-up invul, and he reduces damage still, and a 6-up feel no pain. The only thing he doesn't have is the built-in -1 to hit in melee, and that's mostly the big fucking thing. Custodies have their extra rules, but so do the Space Wolves, which make them fucking spooky in melee. Now, this dude, I can't see. I'm laying down. So, he has, oh, what am I doing? He has built-in 4 attacks, but the Space Wolves, they have their, Savage Echoes, not Savage Echoes, Blood Angels still. They have their extra melee stuff and an Assault Doctrine as well, which are nutty. This dude can get 3-up to hit with -1, but I think there's a way to buff it. But then you roll 2, for every attack, you double it. So instead of 4, you make 8. However, Space Marines, so usually it's going to be plus an extra attack because of the Space Marine bullshit. I forget what it's called. Angels of Death, but it's one of their Angels of Death. That's like a grouping of them. So you're going to make roughly 10 attacks with this motherfucker for AP 3, damage 1. So if you need to kill a bunch of guardsmen, a bunch of sisters, a bunch of little gaunts and shit, he's your boy. They're both those dreadnoughts, the Galatus in this one, T7. The Cleave, the other one was just flat 3s each. This is D3 plus 3 for -1. Ugh. Strength 10, AP 3, instead of Strength 7. This dude is quite reasonably going to kill the Galatus Dreadnought. Like, it is quite feasible for him to kill that fucking Dreadnought. And Savage Fury. When is the Assault Doctrine? A 6 explodes. They have exploding 6s. Let me, you know what? Let me not be lazy. Let's see. So Space Wolves So their detachment rules. Yeah. So it just tells you Savage Fury. Savage Fury is their assault doctrine thing. So this that's their detachment rules. So it's not a bonus. You don't get double Savage Fury. This is just what the army would get, and then so it's just telling you there, which is nice. And then Hunters and Leases is chapter tactic. So you get +1 to your hit roll. That's what it was. If you charge or got charged or heroically intervene, and then everyone can heroically intervene as if they were characters. These are not characters, but they can now heroically intervene, and they can get heroically intervened on. So, by their allies. So you can do the, hey, I'm going to get the -1 to hit for cleave. That's fine, because I'm going to give myself a +1 to hit also. And so, or Harlequins or some shit. Oh, a -1? Cool, I'm going to give myself a +1. So, fuck you, I'm still hitting on 2s. And they're core! So guess what? In my army, I run Bjorn. Why? Because now they get reroll 1s! LOL! And so, you can also run a lieutenant if you want, but, oh my god. It's just so funny now. They're hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, +1 to hit. They explode on 6s, and they're cheaper than a Galatus. And the reason I say Space Wolf, besides like yeah they have extra melee and stuff, is because of their weapons. This kit isn't available to anyone else outside of Space Wolves. So if you want this, also they got mad drip. I mean, look at this. It's got the skull on it. It's got a fucking hide armor with a buckler on it. Like, this is just ceremonial. They have a giant hide metal shield with more Xeno skulls and beast skulls. Like, this dude has come to play. He doesn't fuck around. And so, while it's like, yeah, this guy's got a sword and this guy's got a lance, it's like, alright, well, I'm gonna just axe you to death. And he's got a giant jewel. The jewel is like, where's my guardsman? How big is the jewel? The jewel's like bigger than this dude's fucking it is. It's bigger than his skull. It's like the size of his frame almost. And so, yeah, this Dreadnought, I run 3 of him. I wish I ran 3 more of these guys, and I don't run this one at all. But it is quite feasible to do either him or Mephiston. I just feel like if you're not running these 3 Venerable Melee Dreadnoughts for Space Wolves, you're wrong. Yes, Hammerheads and Vanquishers are still a thing. Ugh, barf. And technically the shit for Space Dwarves, but that's not as much of a threat as those other 2. Because they can't really dumpster you. It's harder for them, and they can't really do it as efficiently, and it's more costly too. So it's a thing, but I don't respect it as big of a threat. The Venerables, for their point value, they rock. You should be running them. They're so fucking good. I think they are, for their point value, the best Dreadnought in the game because of everything in their kit that they have and the fact that they're core, which gives them so many fucking options. And you can play defensively because Space Wolves get stronger again in the Assault Doctrine. And in Assault Doctrine, there's another funny thing that happens. These guys are Space Marines, so what happens? AP 4. AP fucking 4 now. That's a nice Space Marine you have there. It'd be a shame if he just gets no save whatsoever. Get fucked. Yeah. And then, like, there might be some sister stuff and other weird things that have, like, a 6-up invul. I know some Dreadnoughts, like, unless I'm mistaken, the regular Venerable does not get an invul, I think, if memory serves. So that would make you an anti-Dreadnought Slayer as well. So you can just do so much work for this dude. And I just feel like the negatives don't even exist literally because of his kit, as I explained. The only problem is, again, they could just be destroyed by Psychic. The Galatus has more protection because if you go Emperor's Chosen against Psychic, you still have the 6-up Finlow Pain. Boy, they are cheaper than the Galatus is. So if your opponent doesn't have Psychic, more often than not, you have a much bigger advantage against them. because you won't be dealing with those mortal wounds. And even if your opponent dumpsters 1, 2, all 3 of them, 135? So that's 300. That's about 400 points. A fifth of your army are these dudes, which I guarantee it. If they see melee combat and survive just to slap back once or slap once, they will get value. Even if it's not from killing, from the amount of shit your opponent has to dump into them statistically to bring them down for their point value. It's a great trade-off, and they're insane. I want to cover Necrons and other things. I will be closing it here. I could talk all day about Warhammer, but I gotta get ready for work eventually. There's something else I gotta finish. I don't know if I'm gonna do another army video. I originally wanted to, in regards to like play a game. I would like to get one of my other friends who don't really play into this, but with the upcoming changes, it's kind of and I just got other things to worry about. I do love warm-hearted comments. Anyone that likes my videos. I don't think anyone shares, but that's fine. If you can share my content, so try to grow my community, I'd be appreciative. I will show that appreciation when I actually have a community. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say without ranting even further. Take care, game on, gamers. Later. Bye.